Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Skader Thins. That's right, we are without the G because the grandma's dead. But who is not dead is my two co-hosts, as usual, Evan and Blue.
Sorry, I'm
Hello.
choking. Hi, welcome.
I was
Really bad
and
timing.
also, Obby, don't lie about the reason. Really, it's because of all the weight I've lost. So it's actually because I'm thin now.
Ha!
Skader thins.
Let me
It's
look.
because-
Nope, that's not it.
Aw.
He has not lost enough weight yet to get
Let
started.
me see. No.
My headset is also.
Well, I want to say this is a nice change of pace.
Mm.
It's just us three
Hi.
this time. It's been
I know, no
guests
guests.
the
We've
last
had
4
so many guests
episodes.
lately.
Yeah, so I'm
It's
very.
been fun though.
We have had a lot of guests.
We've had a lot
been-
of guests.
It's
I
been fun,
am-
but I kind of like just us for 1 minute.
Yeah, I am very
Yeah,
excited
play
to
games.
just have us three. And yes, exactly like that. We are playing a game today. So
Guys, we're gonna play a game today. Yeah.
We
We'll play
are.
a game.
So, going
Oh,
based
what a
off of
game.
our previous time with red flags, we really enjoyed that, and I wanted to do
Yes.
something in a similar vein this time, but I wanted it to be more interactive and not just me giving questions and not just one person giving questions. I wanted it to be something that is like all of us can participate in and equally have responses to, if that makes sense. So, as I think a lot of skaters know, I've been obsessed and hyper focused on this one YouTube series called Jet Lag, the game by Wendover
Yes.
Productions. Very fun game show and everything like that. However, they have a podcast on their Nebula streaming service where they sometimes in the off season, like in between seasons, they do like specials and they introduce like other things that are on the Nebula platform. And they did one with a person named Chandler Dean, who is the creator of a series called Abolish Everything. And Abolish Everything is like a presentation style series where you present something that you want to abolish, in quotation marks, and you have to give your pitch to why. But there is a political establishment, or like the contrarians, I guess in this case, who are trying to oppose you in every single way after you've given your argument, and you have to defend your argument afterwards. And now the pet peeves are nothing usually serious. Like they did a special recently, and the first one was literally just like, I want people to always wear headphones in public and never blast speakers in public and stuff like that. You know, those like small scenario things.
Right. Nothing like super confrontational, or not confrontational. It's the word.
Controversial.
Controversial. Yes. Thank you. Controversial.
Like,
Nothing
we're not
that's gonna
talking
upset
about
people.
politics or religion or anything like that. It's all just gonna
I
be.
should probably change mine then. Just kidding.
We're all
Yeah.
talking about just like very small pet peeves that each of us have. And so with that, we are going to be having 7 minutes
but mighty.
each. Where we are going to have 2 minutes to introduce our topic and give an explanation why we should abolish it. And we are going to give 5 minutes for the other two people who are not in the whose not pet peeve it is. Sorry. To basically contradict my argument or contradict their argument. We're going to start with me. I'm going to give my pet peeve, and then after 2 minutes of me arguing my pet peeve, it's going to be passed on to Blue and Evan to try and dismantle it and try to make it to where it's not abolished.
Gotcha.
So,
I'm ready.
because
We love
I don't
to
want... literally, this is going to be the argument episode. So,
Right.
because we don't want to get
We're
into
gonna-
legal trouble, please welcome to Abolish Some Things. The game
Oh,
show.
God.
I know. This is how I avoid legal troubles, guys.
Yes.
Either way, though, I think
Oh.
I will go ahead and start. I know I've done a lot
Okay.
of rambling, but just bear with it for 2 more minutes, please.
Rambling. Love it. Let's do
Yep.
Thank you. All
it.
right.
It's my pet peeve. I'm just kidding.
So starting the timer now.
'Kay.
In 3, 2, 1. Guys, gals, non-binary pals. What is one thing that you always expect whenever you go into a drive-thru and you order a milkshake? You always assume that there's going to be whipped cream on it. And you see, there's nothing wrong with whipped cream by itself. Some people might have allergies to it and they can just request to get that whipped cream off. Or they can just request to not have other toppings or whatever have you on their milkshake. But in my opinion, I feel like that is wrong. I feel like that my pet peeve is that we should abolish the fact that we have to ask to have the whipped cream taken off of our milkshakes in drive-throughs, in restaurants, and anywhere. Because it should be our decision if we want whipped cream on our milkshakes. It is not the responsibility of us to tell us that we do not want it. It's our responsibility to tell us we do want it. Listen, and this goes to an even bigger argument. Why on earth would you give us whipped cream for not even asking about it when you can save the few microcents that you could by not putting whipped cream on that milkshake? It makes no financial sense. You are giving us more product when we didn't even ask for it. Henceforth, I think that they should ban and abolish giving us whipped cream for free without asking. Now, the cherry, people will come up and say, what about the cherry? The cherry's important, okay? Now, the cherry is what makes the milkshake the milkshake. The whipped cream does not make the milkshake the milkshake. The cherry on top, it is completely separate. And that is why I think that we should abolish asking for whipped cream on our off of our milkshakes. Thank you.
Are you done? Okay.
Oh wow.
Who goes first,
Okay.
me or Evan?
I'm okay. I'm gonna let you go first, and I'll tell you for why.
Okay.
I'm feeling very British right now, and this is not a problem I have ever encountered before or know of anybody else encountering. So, Blue, I'm going to let you lead this, and I've got some other points I'll make that maybe can be
Hi.
compared to different things that aren't milkshakes.
I'm addressing Mr. Obby Mage now, and Obby, I have to disagree with this because I, even a lactose intolerant person, American, love whipped cream. And if I order a milkshake and it does not have whipped cream on it, I'm going to be very sad and have to go in and say, can you please put some whipped cream on it? Because whipped cream goes on a milkshake. It's like saying you want chocolate milk, but hold the chocolate, right? In my head. It's like getting a pumpkin spice latte, but asking for no pumpkin spice. Like whipped cream just goes on the milkshake. It goes on the coffee. It goes on your frappuccino. Imagine getting a frappuccino without the little bubble lid. You know why they have bubble lids? It's for the whipped cream. And if you don't have whipped cream, where are you going to put your sprinkles, right?
Counter
Where
argument.
do the sprinkles go?
Counter argument. First off, the sprinkles can go on the milkshake itself. There's nothing in.
You're
you
not
just
gonna
pour
see
it
them.
inside. You don't. You can see them if you make it a dense enough milkshake.
To droop. They need to sink into the whipped cream and get all
but
like.
you can also
then,
get
like, the
them
yellow and the
sunk
red and
into the
blues.
milkshake. Okay.
But then
the
they
sprinkles.
turn
The
it
sprinkles are
colors.
not what's matter. You can still get the sprinkles. Okay. The whipped cream is what matters. Just as you said, woman. You are lactose
Exactly.
intolerant.
The whipped
So
cream
shouldn't it be?
matters.
It shouldn't
You
it
heard
be?
him.
No. It's the
You
whipped
heard him,
cream that
everybody.
is this
The
that
whipped
matters.
cream matters.
Why you? Okay, you said that you're lactose
Yes.
intolerant. Shouldn't it
I
be
am.
your
I shouldn't
choice?
be ordering a milkshake.
Shouldn't it be your choice to decide if that has whipped cream on it or
How
not?
bad it's gonna kill my stomach if I'm lactose
should that be
intolerant,
your choice?
Hold on, I represent a lot of you if I'm lactose intolerant. And if I'm going to get a milkshake, I give no fucks at that moment. The milkshake is what matters, not my stomach dying later. So bring on the whipped cream, because I can't have just whipped cream any other day. I can't just walk by my fridge and pick up the can of whipped cream and spray it in my mouth, because why? I'm lactose intolerant. I have to save it for special occasions when I'm already saying, fuck it as it is. I'm just going to die, and I'm going to die happy with whipped cream and sprinkles. Okay, I yield. Go ahead, Evan.
I'm going to add to this and say that I think that the biggest problem with your argument is you're getting angry at the establishment for assuming that you want something that the majority of people actually do want. Let's say, for example, they implemented it where they didn't give you whipped cream. The amount of customers that are going to bombard them saying, where's my whipped cream? I wanted whipped cream with that. Can you not give me whipped cream? It's going to get very irritating. You're going to have so many people getting angry or wondering where this whipped cream is. So is it not better for them to actually put the whipped cream on? And if you really don't want it, you'll go out of your way to specify. If I order a hamburger, I can't be angry at McDonald's for assuming that I wanted ham in my hamburger because I ordered a hamburger. So you've got to really consider the fact that they're going to be going off of what the majority of people do want and expect. And
Okay.
your particular needs cannot be evidently worked around unless they know, which they don't.
But counter argument to that, Evan, wouldn't it technically be more beneficial for them to have them ask if they want whipped cream on it? Because if they say they do not want whipped cream, or if they don't say anything at all, guess what? You just saved a little bit of money by not having that whipped cream put on there, meaning that you have
But
more
is it
back supply of
really?
it.
Not necessarily, because now it's going to take the actual person that makes it more time. So you have to outweigh
It's going to take them
that
less
squirt of whipped
time
cream.
in order to put the whipped
No.
cream on.
Because, like Evan pointed out, most people, let's say 80% of people do want the whipped cream, and if they don't
And they
start
can
it with
just
whipped cream,
ask.
I know, but now the workers got to go back there and now add the whipped cream, or at least ask about it, and see that takes more. You're more paying your
Also-
employees a little longer, because it's going to take a little longer
Extra.
than the 2 people out of the 10 that maybe would have been like,
Also,
oh,
now
maybe
imagine.
actually I don't want that whipped cream. You know, I don't know why
Also,
I said it like that, but yeah.
the point of fast food as well is about efficiency and standardization. If you're in a drive-through, you expect that you're going to drive there, ask for your stuff, be given it, and drive off. Imagine now you have a slightly extra long queue building because the person took extra time asking everybody who drove through if they wanted whipped
They
cream,
want whipped
when
cream
they
on that.
absolutely do. That's less business for them, meaning less money they can spend on the whipped cream, and also it might put off customers because they see a longer queue
And
being
that's
formed
time.
in the drive-through. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
I
Did I
yield
win?
my case.
Okay.
I win.
All
Because
right. Who's
consent
next?
always wins.
Right.
All right.
This is fun. Who's next?
That's very
Next
cheesy.
up-
Okay, it's me next.
Yep. Should we
Okay.
do it where
Okay.
like you sit in the chair here?
Yeah.
You know
Because
what?
I
That's
like
a good
yelling
idea.
at this chair. I like being like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Yeah. This is the biggest
everybody.
switch up in Skater Things history.
Whoa.
really
who
is.
am I? Wait, I'm
Never
All
still
right.
gonna
gonna
say
fly.
this.
Let me know when you're
Okay,
ready, Evan,
so-
and I'll start the timer.
Okay, you can start the timer.
Started.
Okay, so my first argument I will be making today is my biggest pet peeve is, let's say you're at a gas station or a petrol station, depending on where you are in the world, and you pull up and you want to put fuel in your car, right? Seems reasonable. But there's somebody ahead of you who's blocking your way, so you can't actually pull up to the pump, and everybody else is full. But the person in front of you has finished fueling, and there's a space in front of them they could pull towards, giving you room. But you know what they do instead? They don't do that. They just go straight into the station to pay for their fuel. Now, I find this very irritating, because if they took the extra 30 seconds to get into their car and roll the car forward, that would give me space to fill up. It's taking less time out of their day, because it's not going to be an issue. It's an extra 10 seconds. It means I can start filling up a lot sooner, and they're still paying for the fuel and can then get back in and then drive off. So all they're doing is holding up my ability, and anybody else who wants to fill up, from being able to pull in behind the vehicle and fuel their own car up. And I see this all the time, and it's very irritating, and I am at a loss of any justifiable reason why you wouldn't do it other than selfishness. So that's the core of my argument.
Is that your time?
That'll be my time for that.
Do
yeah.
you
Okay.
yield the floor?
You got to say I
No.
yield.
You have to say
Oh,
I yield.
Sorry, I yield.
So, good sir.
You go first. Yeah.
Good sir Solvi, Evan.
Yeah.
I.
Sometimes when people are going to the gas station, they are not there for a luxury wait period of time. They are there because they need to get their gas and they need to get to work fast. They need to get to school fast. They need to get somewhere pretty quickly. And I think
Yeah.
what you are doing is making it to where, sorry, you are not able to be here. It is your fault for not having gas prepared before time. But some cars are different. Some cars run out of gas a lot sooner than others. It is not obviously always going to be the same case every time. In fact, cars, the older they get, the faster they lose fuel usually. So who are you to say that they shouldn't go ahead and try and get to the gas as fast as possible and fill up as fast as possible.
I believe that I think it all comes down to basic sharing, right? The extra half a second it takes them to roll directly forwards to fill up is not going to have any bearing on them. And all it's going to do is hold up other people who might be in a rush needing to fuel their car up. Now,
That
there are two
extra
scenarios where
second
this
could
can
have helped
occur.
a fireman get to a fire faster, though.
What if I'm the fireman? What if I'm an off-duty fireman?
Why are you
and I get a
using
call?
our gas stations, fireman? You have your own.
Yeah.
But what if I'm an off-duty fireman in my own car and I get a call out of hours and now I
Then
can't get out because there's somebody in my way?
you
What
can
am
get
I to
out.
do?
You just have to inch around.
Now, the biggest issue as well is when it's not even when they do it. Like, let's say there's a car ahead of them and they pull in behind that, and then the car leaves and then they don't pull forwards. That's less annoying than there's two empty spaces, but they choose the closest one rather than the furthest away one. There's no valid reason you would do that besides you just don't care and you're holding people up. It creates a longer queue and it gets in people's way. And I just find it disrespectful and I find it irritating and it makes it harder for me or anybody else to fill up. And I don't see it. I don't get it. What's the deal?
Okay, my turn.
If you want.
So, did you know that a symptom of agoraphobia is that there is a thing called this is a real thing. I looked it up. Being first in line. Did you know that? So there's people out there that could have agoraphobia. It's agoraphobia.
I know how to spell it.
It's an anxiety disorder. Okay.
Are you
And a
agoraphobic
symptom-
phobic, Evan?
Yes.
So not everyone experiences it in the same way, but a variation of it is a fear of being first in line. So in a sense, what you're saying is, so let's say there's nobody in line and there's two pumps, you know, like front and back, like one in front of the other. And you're saying, why is it they pull up to the first one and they don't pull all the way up to the second one? Which, I mean, I understand. I do agree. It's a little annoying. What that means as me, the next driver, is I have to go around and then back up a little bit. It's not really conceding. It's just going, oh, well, they're parked there. And I don't know why they're parked there. It
Why
could be
don't
because
just go around?
Could be because when they got there, there was somebody in that spot. Usually that is the case. It's because and now they're done. And before they go in and pay or they pay at the pump, they don't necessarily, why am I going to get in my car, turn it on just to scooch up 3-4 feet when the other person can easily just pull in?
I got a question here, though.
Because of my fear, my phobia.
Here's my question. So what if there was a person in front of that person, and when they got out of their car and they started filling up their gas tank, that person left while they were filling it up? Is it their responsibility to now pull out the gas thing, stop filling it up, move up one space just to pull out the gas again start filling it up again?
That's not the core of my argument. They are welcome to finish fueling it. After they finish,
so are you going to wait then behind them while they finish fueling it? I take it. That's your plan then, to wait?
I will wait for them to finish fueling it, then they get in the car, pull it forward, and then they pay for it.
And while you're waiting for that, someone else is going to go ahead and take that first one. Yeah. So
that was my thought too. Here, if you wait too long and there's an open spot, someone's going to go around you and then just pull up and back up. It takes about maybe 8 seconds more.
No one. I've never encountered that ever, and I've filled up at a lot of petrol stations. That is a weird one. Usually, like
that's a UK thing. That's
I guess it's a UK thing because here, if you're in line for gas and there's an open spot and you are sitting there,
people are going to take it. It's a free for all for the gas station.
It literally is. Like, you're next in line. You get it first.
Well,
but
okay, so
if you're just sitting there waiting the 5 minutes for the guy to finish filling up, someone else could already be there and halfway done.
Well, at my petrol station, you can't really there is no going around because you've got these two really skinny lanes with like the two like support beams of like the overhead structure between them, right? And the outermost lane.
That's time.
Yeah, and then the outermost lane. Okay.
That is time.
It's a tight fit always, but you can go around. So
Yeah, but but
there's a
nobody
will, there's a
does.
way.
And in my two petrol stations, to do that would be to drive onto the main road again, which you can't really do. Like,
Oh, I do that all the
I'd have
time.
to,
I pull onto the
I'd
main
have
road
to,
and then I circle it. But it's okay. It's my turn, right, Abby?
I'd have to
is your
show
turn.
you like my petrol station to understand that.
All right.
right.
So, hi.
Blue, do you
Welcome.
want to take your seat?
Yeah, I do. Get out of here. Get out of my seat.
I
Hi.
liked
But I'm
it,
going to
though.
stand on
Oh,
it.
you're sitting right next to me. Oh, okay.
It's the smell goes away after a bit, Obby.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Well,
All
I
right.
felt like the warmth of
So,
another human being for once, but never mind.
which one was I was going to do first? Oh, yes. Okay. I was going to do the second
Let me
one,
know
I
when you're
think.
ready.
I'm ready. Let's go.
And
All right.
start.
So, this is the first of my 3 pet peeves. And this is just one of them. It's not my most important one. But I cannot stand it when people do speaker calls in public. And I'm not just saying that quick little call where your kid's like, "Mom, I'm home." You're like, "Thanks, son, bye." And you just move about your business in, aisle 8 looking for ice cream. I'm talking about the people that literally will sit on speakerphone in the grocery store, in the where you go get your oil change, where you're having to sit and wait, the DMV, any public place that you're having to sit and be around other people or walk next to other people, and they're having full-blown conversations, and we're hearing not just the one side, but we're hearing both sides. So now we're very invested in what Janet did this weekend, like one of those, and we're hearing the whole thing. And sometimes they're a little amusing, and I think, God, I'm glad I'm not friends with them. But other times I'm like, okay, this is like sheer pain. Like my autistic brain is not happy with this because I'm having to listen to their conversation, but theirs and theirs and theirs and theirs, because people everywhere are doing this now. It's very, very common to like hear people have speakerphone conversations anywhere you go, the mall, the store. Basically, the only place I don't hear it is the movie theater. So that's all. That's all I need for Albia's to say. Thank you.
All right. So,
I'm
do you
ready.
want to go first, Evan?
Yeah. So first of all, wow, how offensive to people who are hard of hearing, right? If they maybe they have the
True.
speakerphone on because they really struggle to hear, they really struggle to hear the call. So you're
I wouldn't
saying
mind
that the
them.
needs of you are more important. Well, how do you know? It's
How
not
do you
always easy
know?
to tell. So you're saying that your needs are more important
Mhm.
than somebody who's hard of hearing or may have deafness problems. So
Uh-huh.
because they need to have it on speakerphone, you believe that they're being rude and that they're the ones in the wrong, when that might be the only way that they can actually hear what their
But that's
loved
not
ones need
true.
to say to them.
Because if they have on the if they have any kind of ear device,
Earphone.
they can have
I said
headphones,
I said
earphones,
hard
something.
of hearing though. I said hard of hearing. Not everybody is very
Well,
visibly
so
hard
how
of
is
hearing.
them putting headphones on going to make that better or worse for them?
Maybe they can't afford
Because-
headphones. Do you consider that?
Very true. Okay, Abby, go ahead.
Doesn't even try to fight back. So here-
I learned a long time ago. Sometimes you just say okay and move on. Go ahead, Abby. I'm gonna Keanu Reeves
So-
you. Okay, go ahead, Abby.
So,
Wow.
Just Blue 333. I have dealt with a situation like this actually very recently. My
okay.
roommate, who usually is a deal hunter and tries to make sure that she gets the best deal and best bang for her buck when it comes to like ordering groceries and everything. She orders from multiple places on the same day for her grocery needs. Because, like, hey, Amazon Fresh has a little bit cheaper groceries than Costco, but Costco has cheaper stuff than Trader Joe's, etc., etc. And this last time go around, she ordered from Amazon Fresh, and they literally took her money, and they did not deliver the food at all. And now, obviously, she was very pissed about this. We were already out by the time that she got that notification, and that customer service representative told her what to do. However, the way that they told her to do it, she had to call back again. And so while we were in Costco, she had to call them. Now, Blue, we all know how long it takes to fight customer representation sometimes on the phone. She does
That's
it for
true.
work. She literally works for Medicaid and stuff like that and does customer representation for them. It takes a while. Now,
It takes a while.
when you're holding your phone up to your ear, what does your phone produce or your body produce? Oil on your phone, sweat on your
Oil.
phone. It
Yeah.
becomes extremely uncomfortable, extremely discomforting,
Mhm.
and for someone like her who is autistic, it provides sensory issues. So, who are you to say that you should not be using the speakerphone
Yeah.
in Costco, complaining to the Amazon customer lady representative because of your sensory issues with...
Well, she's autistic. She probably has some headphones near her.
She did not have headphones. She uses headphones all day at work, and because of that, she has an aversion to them because of how cramped her ears get.
No, I actually get that. I wear my headphones with one ear off, so yeah.
I think that, like, see, for me, I think like the real...
She can wear them. I don't mind her. Okay.
I think the real thing we have to get at here is, like, I think we've all been in that situation, and I think all of us at some point can go, "Ugh, really? Do we really need to be hearing this right now?" But you have to consider what the reasons may be, and sometimes we don't know what they are.
And that's why I said not all conversations bother me. If it's a short little, like, whatever, or you can tell clearly someone's on the hold or something or whatever. I'm talking about the ones that are like the ones that agitate me, where I'm hearing about people's personal stuff that I just didn't need to hear. And I'm hearing so many of it because everybody's doing it. And I'm in the grocery store a lot, and I hear it a lot in the grocery store.
So just Bluetooth
And
you
That's a
through.
very...
I just wish sometimes
That's
that's
a
all.
very fair point. That's a very fair point, but counter argument, don't knock it till you try it. Maybe you should do it sometime.
Another counter argument, though. Gossip.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me gossip is a timely thing, okay? Listen, gossip is a timely thing. The gossip from 3 days ago, that's outdated trash now at that point.
Is
you got to
way
get
gone.
on that thing as soon as possible, woman. Who cares if other people are bothered by you talking on a speakerphone? You got to learn that tea quick, okay?
Oh, it's funny. Can you imagine the other day? So, an example, we were, Riley's in the ER, and I was talking to you guys one night, and can you imagine if that had been on speakerphone? I had headphones on, but can you imagine is all I'm going to say. All right. So, you're up, Bobs.
You yield?
I yield. I'm done. I liked that one. And this is my lowest, so I'm excited to get to the ones I really want to do.
All right. I'm excited too. And we got through those pretty quickly. We're a little under 30 minutes so far, so we're really good on this. All right. Ladies, gentlemen, and my non-binary associates and friends. 64-ounce water bottles are the bane of human existence. Now, I bought a 64-ounce water bottle a couple of months ago because it is like a thing here in the US where people say you should drink 64 ounces of water a day. That is like the standard, in quotes, of what you should drink on a daily basis. So, because of that, I wanted to be a hydro boy, and I wanted to get my 64-ounce water bottle and take it with me to drink. Little did I know how encumbersome that 64-ounce water bottle would be. The 64-ounce water bottle is the heaviest bottle I've ever owned and is the biggest load of crap I've ever used. Now, to be fair, I did get a metal water bottle, and maybe the weight difference is different for plastic water bottles. However, I can tell you from all my research that I have seen, which is 3 seconds worth, it isn't. The form factor shape is the same, whether if it's plastic, whether if it's metal, whether if it's made of sand. I do not care. Okay? These water bottles will not fit in any standard cup holder that you got. You are constantly required to hold it inside with your hand or inside a backpack itself, meaning that if you want to take a sip of your water, now you have to take off your backpack, grab it out of there, unzip it, grab it out, untangle the lid, take a sip, and then put it back in, and then when you want to take another drink of that water, you have to do that all over again. It is... the unneedlessness of it is so annoying. Just get a 40-ounce water bottle instead, which can fit inside of the standard size cup holders that you get in cars, that you get in backpacks, that you get in bikes, that you get in every of these things, instead of getting the big, jugged 64-ounce water bottle. Please, I yield my time.
Okay. So, first of all, one thing that you are failing to realize is the workout aspect. You see, secretly, when you get the 64 ounce, because you're having to carry it everywhere you go, hold it in your lap when you're driving, because you're right, it does not fit. In fact, mine only fits the 24 ounce. So yeah. Although you might have a Stanley. Is yours a Stanley? Anyway.
Mine's not Stanley.
Okay, my Stanley 32 would fit, but my Awala only 28 will fit in my car. So I understand what you're saying about that. So you have to carry it, right? So carrying 64 ounces around with you, lugging it around all day, you're building up those biceps. So you're actually getting a workout with your hydration. And how's everyone going to know how cool you are if you're not lugging around like a, trash can with you, your 64-ounce water bottle? How people going to not know you're that Hydra boy that you want to be so
Now,
bad?
here's my
I've
question.
also got to say something too.
But here's my question and counter argument to that. Did the person who buy the water bottle consent to working out in the first place? They just wanted the water bottle to have the standard amount of water that a human should have. And instead, now they get a workout every time they carry that water bottle
Because
around.
Hydra cares. That's why. They care enough about you to know your needs.
Big Hydro cares about you.
Well, Obby, I've got to say this, Obby, right?
It's a Lumen product.
I think my biggest criticism of your argument is this, Obby. You need to log out of Minecraft right now. How can you be against a stack of ounces, right? That is the classic Minecraft measurement. And you're against a stack of ounces? What is wrong with you? This is
only
like the
64.
worst thing I've ever
That's
seen. 64. It's perfect. You can't have.
Listen.
What do you want to do? Cut your stack in half and have 232s, Obby.
Okay,
Yeah.
listen.
This is ridiculous.
I have had a gallon of milk, a carton gallon of milk that literally weighs less than this water bottle that I have filled with water. Okay?
Yes.
And a gallon, just by American measurements, is double 64 ounces. It's 128 ounces usually. So why the hell did they make this water bottle so heavy when it holds half the entire liquid that a gallon does? Why?
I think
it's because it also is a cooler. You said it's metal, right?
It
that
is a
bitch
thermos.
will hold ice for 2 days. I swear. Like mine, like, do you hear? I don't know if you
Also,
can hear this. This is ice from 2 days ago. Like that, they're insulated better than your freezer at your local
But
McDonald's.
so are
That's why
40-ounce water bottles,
yes,
which can fit
see,
inside cup holders.
But look at that.
You know
Wait,
what's
look at that.
wonderful
Hold
as
on.
well?
Do you see this? Do you see this, Evan? Look at that muscle. Look at
Yeah.
that bicep right there.
See, it's
Woo,
perfect.
Obby, put your guns away.
I also got to say this. Now, in the United Kingdom, we don't really use ounces. We use milliliters and liters. We don't use this weird gallon.
64 ounces is about equivalent to 2.5 liters, if I remember correctly.
No, it is not. 64 ounces is actually equivalent to 18 milliliters. And isn't that an amazing number?
1.8 liters.
That is perfect. That is amazing. 1,818 is a beautiful number. How can you resist 1818? So this conversion is amazing for 2 reasons. Number one,
Evan, not everyone is a math nerd.
It trains your mathematical brain into thinking of conversions, which is amazing.
Counter argument, they might be an artist. They don't care to train that part of their brain. They care for the creative part of their brain. See, now you are discriminating against artists with using this argument.
You know who I think you're discriminating against? You know who I think you're discriminating against? You're discriminating against the factory workers who put a lot of time into building that bottle. How do you think the kids in Vietnam feel knowing they have an American throwing a bottle to one side because it's 0.001 milliliters off his preferred number because it's too heavy?
More argument.
How dare
I have one more
you?
argument, Obby.
You have 45 seconds.
Okay, my other argument is it can be used as a weapon. So you're
so can a metal 40 ounce.
With your 64-ounce water bottle and someone tries to jump you, you just whip that bitch around and smack them and they're gone. They're out for the count.
Oh. But so can any single metal water bottle.
Weapon?
Any single metal water bottle can do that exactly.
No, 64-ounce will knock their ass out. A 32-ounce will just stun them a little bit. So you've got a deadly weapon there.
In addition, you can fill that bitch up and then put it in a rucksack, and then you can walk around with the heavy backpack, and you'll get more of a workout from the heavy water bottle in more ways than just your arms. So it's a perfect investment in your time.
And that is time.
You're blessed.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready. Let's go. Evan, get your ass over there.
Oh gosh.
We gotta rotate.
It's gonna be a disaster.
Do you want to sit in this seat right here, Obby? Have you sat in this one before?
No, I've not.
Okay, we'll switch.
And I'm the one who.
Nice.
I used the wrong one.
It's nice.
There we go.
I think I did.
I'll let you get comfortable.
All
right, everybody.
Let me know when to start.
Okay, Obby. You do the countdown. All right, let's go.
3, 2, 1, start.
My next pet peeve is a much more important one, and I think that this one rings true of us all today. We're in an age now where we expect information given to us immediately, okay? And in many ways, that's a great thing. The immediate question of, I wonder how potatoes were discovered, right? The ability to just immediately pull out your phone and Google that is incredible. And there's no criticisms I have of that. That isn't the pet peeve. My pet peeve is that this has become a problem in more ways than just we want to look up a simple question. You ever want to message somebody? So you send them a message and you're waiting and you're waiting, and before you know it, it's been 2 whole minutes, and there's still not even been a message opened from them. Do you ever get that? Isn't that annoying, right? Well, I hate that, because here's the problem. We as a society expect an answer from people immediately. Gone are the days where you could go a full day without speaking to somebody. If you go any longer than 7 hours without appearing online, opening a message, or replying to somebody, people assume the worst has happened to you. They assume that you've gone up Mount Everest and haven't come back. They assume that you've gone missing and been kidnapped. They assume you're out in the forest on a horrible survival mission. And, worst comes to worst, they just think you're flat out dead. So my biggest problem with society right now is that not only do we expect an immediate reply from people, but other people immediately expect a reply from us. And I got to tell you, I hate this. And I'm guilty of this. And you're probably guilty of this, dear viewer. And they're probably guilty of it as well. I'm even breaking this because of how angry I am at this, right? We're all guilty of this, but that's the problem. It's the symptom of how society is devolving in real time. I yield.
First of all, I just want to start by saying potatoes were discovered between 8,000 and 10,000 years ago. Okay, so we got
Thank you for that.
That's done. You're very welcome. And this is going to be a harder one for me to argue because.
So, Evan, do
God
you
damn it,
hate
do
your
I agree.
friends?
Wait,
Do you
Evan?
hate your
Yes.
friends?
I do hate my friends, yes.
So
what happens
you
when
want
you
to
fall and hit your head and we don't know
Yeah.
for reals?
if you do
Does
ever
not care.
like 7 hours is a long time. I think people assume 7 hours is not a long time. You know what you can do in 7 hours? You can do
die.
almost an entire full workday and make $50. So during
Ooh.
that entire time that you are away from your phone, what could be happening to you? In 7 hours, you can go and get yourself killed. You can go get yourself lost in the forest. You
get
can go
married?
and climb at
You
least
become a
1/15 of Mount Everest, probably. Okay?
Wow.
So
A lot could happen. I actually have a
Exactly.
great one for this. Are you
so
ready?
are you
No,
saying that you
and
hate your
you know-
friends?
I am saying I hate my friends. I hate every friend I've ever had.
Do you hate the people
No,
that care and
I-
love about you? Because I have a very important lesson to tell you right now. Are you ready for my story?
I'll be
I
as
have a
ready as I'll
story.
ever be. Why, please,
So
please make it.
this is a true story. So my biological mother, because you know I'm adopted. She actually slipped in her kitchen and fell and hit her head. Did you know that? And when that happened, she didn't talk
Clumsy.
to anyone. 4 days went by before anyone found her. I'm not even joking. This is a real story. A true story. Abby might remember this because I had to fly out there really quickly when my brother called me and told me she was in the ICU. And what happened was my brother, like 2 days later, was like, have you talked to mom? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And then the next day was, have you talked to mom again? I'm like, no, she's not texting me back. Yeah, that's weird. It was weird. And on the 4th day, my brother and I were very concerned, and we got a neighbor to check on her, and she had fallen and hit her head in the kitchen. And she didn't die from that, but I just wanted everyone to know that.
Well, first of all,
Thank you for
away
clarifying she did not die from that.
She passed away later from something different, but I will tell you, her blood sugar was like at 14, like she was in a coma, like she almost died.
Okay.
And you know why she didn't die? Because we were concerned. Well, she did die, but later. We were concerned because she was not texting us back, and unfortunately, my brother and I live very far away.
Well, I thank you for sharing that
do you not
story.
care about your friends or family? Like,
number one, I want to just say I now know where you get your clumsiness from. And number two is I'd like to point out that Obby, you are right that a lot can happen in 7 hours, but you know what else can happen in 7 hours? A whole lot of nothing. I could be having a very nice nap. Maybe I've been working very hard, and I just need some fucking sleep. And I wake up to 100 messages from Blue
He's
going,
using this
"Evan, are
against
you
me.
alive?
He's
Oh
using
my
this
god,
against
he
me right
hates
now."
me. He didn't reply. This sucks."
Wow, Evan, that was really
No.
low. That was low.
I didn't even think of that.
Wow, Obby, we're just
I
gonna
didn't
move
even
this
think
way.
about that.
Yeah.
Side note,
I
Obby
didn't even
overslept
think
for
about
Okay,
our
that.
so you
recording
know
on
what my
Tuesday.
you want to know
I
what my other
promise.
fucking argument is? Okay, so today earlier I was editing the latest episode that is releasing tomorrow, Lord's episode, and I
Lord, hey,
remember
Lord, what's up?
specifically, hey, Lord said that he misspoke when he said hypertension when he meant to say hyperextension. And I remembered
Yeah.
that, oh yeah, he said he didn't want, he wanted to clarify that he meant hyperextension. So I messaged him, like, and I only messaged him like 20 minutes after asking him, hey, can you send me a picture for the thumbnail? So I was like,
So he had
okay,
just been awake.
yeah, he's awake, definitely. And he doesn't get back to me in 2 hours. In that 2 hours, I had already finished the entire podcast. I'm not waiting around for him to send me, oh, yes, I meant hyperextension.
Waiting.
No.
We're not waiting,
I have
Lord.
things to
No.
do.
You're just
2
saying you're
hours.
impatient.
Just like I said, 7
I
hours you
love
can
you,
do a
Lord,
whole
too.
lot, and you can do a whole lot of nothing. In those 2 hours, I could be
I-
doing a whole lot of something right now too. So I'm not going to be
Now,
waiting
there's
around.
many ways.
I might make a decision because I can't reach you,
There's-
and that might be a poor
There's
decision.
many.
And now my
There's
life is
many
fucked
ways that you can look at this. I think that the real problem isn't even so much what the person could be doing as it's the dependence of needing an immediate reply. And sometimes, yes, it could maybe be a couple of hours and it seems a bit unordinary. And sometimes that concern could maybe help people. But my entire point is that we're getting to a point where people can't even go an hour without getting a reply and panicking or thinking that something's wrong or that person doesn't like them. If I disappeared for 12 hours or I went to sleep or I did all sorts of different things, then people would immediately assume I just don't care anymore, or I've just disappeared. When I might just be having a really busy day. And also, what's really funny, and this is actually not relevant to my argument, this is just really funny. I actually didn't even think about that whole sleeping thing. I just mentioned that as like an additional thing. It's even funnier that I didn't even consider
And
that.
that is
So
time.
It looks so petty.
It does look petty. So just for
was-
context, we were supposed to
fun.
record 2 days ago, and I forgot, and I fell asleep. And they were waiting for me for like 20 minutes, and I was passed out asleep. And so that's what he's referencing.
And I've mentioned that to him like as a counter argument, and he's immediately thought that I'm just citing that.
I wouldn't do that to you, Obby.
And I hadn't even thought of it. I hadn't even occurred to me about that. I'd forgotten, so I was just using that as like an irrelevant thing. That's so funny. All right.
And I also
right,
want to
Lou.
just go on the record before we start this next one. I completely agree with your argument. I mean,
Oh, I
literally,
do too. It was a hard one it was a very hard one for me to argue because
you
of
made
that.
it easier to argue by saying that, like, obviously I don't need my friends knowing about my whereabouts every time. It's like, well, I can use that against you. Okay.
Well,
but
and I did happen to have a mom who just literally fell and hit her head and nobody knew.
And those
So
are
that
also
worked
good
out,
points.
but it was a harder one to argue because I agree.
I think it's very much like an 80-20. I think your points are definitely relevant in like small circumstances. I think, but in general, I think it's a hard one to disagree on. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Blue, this is your second one too,
Number 2.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. This
if
is
we
my
finish
second
this one within 8 minutes, we might be able to do 10 minutes for the last 3 if we want.
Okay, my last one is my favorite one. So.
All right.
So
ready?
let's go fast. I'm ready. Go.
All right. Go.
All right. So the second thing that I have as a pet peeve that I would love to abolish and make it illegal to do is strangers getting in my space and or touching me. And I feel like I need to explain this a little bit. So I'm autistic. Hi. I don't like people making eye contact, looking at me, getting near me to start with. But I have a personal space bubble just like everybody does. I just like to think of mine as a little bit like thinner than others because I don't like even the normal personal space bubble. But what I hate is when strangers, people I do not know, let's say I'm at the grocery store, I'm at Safeway, that's our grocery store, and I'm in line and I will have someone, and usually it's all very innocent. Let's say it's a lady in her 70s. She will put her hand on my arm to get my attention to ask me a question. And she touches me and she's standing right next to me and I hate it. I think it should be illegal. I think there should just be some kind of a worldwide knowledge rule of you just don't touch strangers because you don't know how they're going to handle it. I'm sure most people would be fine and they don't mind a stranger touching them on the arm. But for me, I get instantly nauseous. I get physically sick. My anxiety shoots off the charts and I panic and I hate it. And I hate it so much. And I hate it when people get in my space. They just like get right up to my face and I don't know where to look and I can't breathe. And I don't like it, and I think people should just not do it. And I can't even imagine you guys arguing this, but let's do this. I yield.
Okay, so
Wow.
Just Blue
So
333. I want to start here real quick,
Oh
Evan.
Lord.
Sorry. So Just Blue 333. In your last argument, you were talking about how people should not be using speakerphones in public, right?
Yes.
And one of the arguments you made for a lot of it was that you should use headphones. Am I correct?
Headphones. See.
Now, whenever you're using headphones, usually headphones have noise cancellation to where you don't hear the outside world around you. Now, say if
Yes.
you're at the grocery store and you're like listening to your favorite tunes and you're comparing like prices and stuff of like marinara sauce or something like that. And the person
Mhm.
behind you is wanting to get something on the top shelf that's right above you, and they're
Yes.
trying to get your attention. Oh, you don't hear them. Now they tap you on the shoulder just like once or twice to get your attention to say like, "Hi, can I get up, get behind you so I can get that thing?"
Why would you touch me? Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, we are touching you in order to get your attention so that way
I'm
you
a
can move.
responsible headphone person. I leave one ear off, and I always leave one ear off, and I'm very hyper aware of everything
That is
going on
you,
around
though.
me.
That is not everyone.
Well,
A
they need
lot
to
of
get better.
people do not like to have headphones in both ears to have the premium
Then
sound
you
experience.
stand in front of them and you flap your arms, or you like shake their cart or something. But you
Now,
don't have
Blue,
to
that is
touch them.
embarrassing. That is genuinely
All right.
embarrassing.
I'm seeing a lot of angles here. I gotta say.
Oh God,
I've got
Evan.
I've got a couple of things I want to say. All right, I've got two
Okay.
things I really want to get clear. First of all,
I'm ready.
in this harsh world, okay, there are wolves and then there are sheep, and you got to decide if you're going to be a sheep or a wolf, right? The wolf touches the people around him to make it clear his presence is there. But you, unfortunately, my dear friend, are a sheep. You're allowing yourself to be touched. You should be turning it around and touching them to get their attention.
So do you not
first and
care about my
foremost.
autism? Like, is that what
No.
are you shaming me that I'm autistic?
How would
and-
other people know you're
Yes.
autistic?
100%.
No, he's saying
shaming.
I should touch them. Did I not hear that
Oh,
right?
Right. Wait,
what?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you want me to
should.
completely change my personality and who I am to my core? I don't understand your
Yes.
argument.
100%
Okay.
you should.
All
So,
right.
Now, but
okay.
So
in
here,
addition-
let me
in
go
addition
ahead
to
and
that,
Sounds good.
and then
let's go
the
ahead
second
and
thing I wanted to say.
You're right.
Hang on,
Okay, go ahead,
I had
Obby.
one-
Oh, that's right. You had another one. Sorry.
I had one other thing, just one.
Go ahead,
So
go
change
ahead.
who I am, and the other one is.
Okay. Okay, and then the other thing as well, right, is how about this then, right? So since you don't want people to touch you and get your attention for things, fair enough. How about instead they blow air on your hair? Would that be easier? They'd get your attention. They wouldn't be touching you technically. They're just blowing your hair, making you notice. Would you like somebody's air, like breath on your face or your hair? Would that help? Because we can do that too.
And I got another actual scenario
I
for
go
you.
to the UK. I never want to go to the UK. They blow on people there. Okay, go
I
ahead.
want
No, they
another
don't.
scenario
They
for
don't
you,
do
Just
that,
Blue
don't worry.
333. So
Okay, give me another
Blue,
scenario.
you are
Mhm.
you identify as female, correct?
Yes, yes.
Now,
I do.
back in high school or something like that, did you ever have to, or any time in your life, have you ever had to wear a skirt?
Yes.
Now, obviously,
I wear skirts
most
sometimes. Mhm.
most times when women wear skirts, they wear something underneath it to make sure that no one can see like private areas and stuff like that. Now, here's a scenario for you,
Like
Blue.
pantyhose or panties? Which
Yeah,
one?
doesn't matter. Just anything to
Okay,
cover.
Whatever.
Okay.
Garments.
Sometimes they don't, though. Like, that is just a decision some people make. Whatever
Yes,
has you. Now, Blue,
Yep.
scenario for you. You're on. Now, obviously, this doesn't work because this is America and they don't have trains
I
here.
know where this
But
is
you are in
going.
a crowded train. And someone accidentally drops their phone and it is right underneath you where your skirt would be. Would you want that person to go underneath your skirt to grab your phone and you look down and you see them and you freak out? Or would you rather them tap you on the shoulder when, of course, same scenario applies. You have headphones in, so you can't hear them talk to you. Tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, sorry, I dropped my phone. Can you please move for me to grab it?" Which one would you prefer, Just Blue 333?
So, okay, that the preference would be to say, ma'am, or whatever, as loud as they could till they got my attention. And then they could like look down.
But
Now,
what if you can't
More
hear?
attention
What
to
if they
yourself.
couldn't
Autistic?
hear you?
I'm already looking down. I
What if
always
what if
look
they're
down.
what if
I
they're
always
also
look down. So I'm gonna
But what if
see
it's
their
in an
phone and
angle
I'm
that
gonna-
you can't see
what
it
if-
at?
I'll
Maybe
go-
it's
What if they're
directly under your
also-
skirt.
Also, what if
would
they're
still
also
see it.
autistic?
I literally
What
see
if
my
what if
feet.
they don't want to speak up? What if they're autistic and they don't want to say anything? What if they don't want to draw attention to
Then they
themselves by
just
yelling
if they're
down?
also autistic, we're gonna get along really well because they're not gonna say anything, and we'll just wait till we get
They
there,
might
and then as I
they
leave,
might have
then they'll
to.
bend over and pick it up, which is what I would do. I've done that for like
I
flights before. I've dropped something at the beginning of a flight and not said anything until the very end. But
I
me.
think you know what I think like despite the fact that this isn't a thing in the UK, I think sometimes I think we understand your
I don't
argument
think I'm ever
perfectly.
wearing a
I
skirt
think
again.
I do not understand
if
your
I ever
argument at
need
all. I think that you are just socially
I
anxious
need
and you're
to
wanting to project it onto other
no
people.
Yeah,
no I
if you
completely get it.
Time.
If blue oh okay well I want to just quickly say blue that was a very hard one to argue because I actually really do agree with you like I think there are nuances where I think it's okay
there's
absolutely
times,
but
of course, when it's necessary. Agreed. Just
but
like the
in
phone issue.
general
That's an
I
agreed. But I'm talking about the ones that are like,
even I
where did you find those ruffles? I'm like, the chip aisle? Like,
yeah
you needed
I
to
don't
touch
like
me for
it.
that?
Yeah, I think that like I'm gonna say this. I think that like Americans touch each other more when speaking because I've never really dealt with. I mean, I've dealt with that
It's kind
before.
of
There
a
are people
thing
who
here.
do
It's
touch.
like they touch your arms, like, and it's usually older women
Yeah,
that do
Yeah.
it more than anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really get touched by younger people at all, but like older women, it's
no,
like they hit 60 and they want to give you sugar-free
elder
candy,
women,
touch
elder
your
women do it here
arms.
more too.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
some people like will like slap you on like the shoulder, like maybe I'm with like some friends and they
Turn
might
ups.
like make a joke and then like smack my shoulder. But that's kind of it. But that's different in my
Number
opinion.
3, let's
All
go.
right. And so this next one, we are going to do 10 minutes because we have like 40 minutes left still. So
Hmm.
let me
We
set
got
the
30
timer.
minutes left. We have 30
So
minutes left.
let's do,
We have 30 minutes left. Because I have to work.
yeah, we still have 10 minutes for each though. So let's
Yeah.
do 3 minutes of the intro and then 7 minutes to argue. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. And wait, where's my last one? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yep. Hello, everyone. I have talked to you today about assuming that people want whipped cream on their milkshakes. I've also talked to you today about 64-ounce water bottles and their inconveniences. But nothing that I have talked about today drives me up more and riles me up more than public message boards. And now, when I say the word public message boards, I think visions come to mind. You might think of the popular forum board 4chan, or maybe you're thinking of forums in general, the place where you go to ask questions that everyone who replies tells you to Google it. Whatever. No. I'm talking about anything that can be considered a board where you can post whatever you want in Word format. That is any social media site that allows you to post words by itself, whether that's Twitter, whether that's even Blue Sky, whether that's Reddit, whether that is any single thing. I think they should be abolished. Now, my fellow people, I want to ask the question, what causes violence? A lot of people have separate answers for this, but the true answer is people cause violence. People are the root cause of violence and also the root cause of everything else in this world. And you know what makes people violent more than anything? A lot of things. Things in general. So why on earth are we giving people the ability to talk about anything they want on these sites and boards where they can post anything that they want, even if it is just to get under people's skin? We are allowing this, and now we are causing violence. I am that concerned parent. I am that one who doesn't want my children to go on a social media site because it's going to cause them to act violently towards me, obviously.
Oh boy. I'm so glad I get 7 minutes for this. I'm just gonna say
I still have a whole minute.
Well,
I still have a whole
sorry,
minute.
sorry,
Shut up.
Sorry.
All
right, sorry.
Any site that makes it to where you have to read the post that someone else produced should be abolished. And I'm sorry. And yes, this does count just anything that has it to where you have to read text without the consent of clicking view comments or something like this. A great example of what shouldn't be banned is Instagram. Even though I hate Instagram and it's AI slop now, at least you have to consent to hit click view all comments to see the degenerate garbage that goes on in those comment sections. Those are fine. But if you go to most apps, you see what they text right away. You don't see pictures and then a description. No, you just see the description. And it is unfair for us to have to see such ludicrous ideas sometimes that can cause me to act up in rage and violence. I yield.
Wow, Grand Lord Obby, dictator of the New World Order. It's nice to meet you finally. So you're okay with censorship, are you? You believe that we should ban messaging boards, you should ban social media, and prevent people from voicing their democratic voices. Is that what we're saying? I understand perfectly. So you're not going to
Yes.
allow these people to spread their opinions, to air out their dirty laundry where no one else can do it. I can't vent to my mother about my political frustrations, but you know where I can? To a bunch of strangers on the internet. And now you wish to revoke that right from me, like the dictator you wish to become?
Yes,
I am disgusted
because
by you, Obby.
I am
Good
smarter than every single person that has ever been born. Do you not realize that?
If you put that on a messaging board somewhere, I could read it and then I'd believe it.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a shame.
All I have to do is use that I'm trying to abolish to get her on my side. Literally, that's all I have to do.
So wait, hold on. I just have one little thing on this one.
Go ahead.
So my messaging board where I complain about recipes and how they're calling for whole milk and I really want to use, lactate. I shouldn't be able to do that, is what you're saying. You're saying I should just keep my thoughts to myself on any issue at all and not use a messaging board because the messaging boards are just spreading hate, and hate, as we know, breeds
exactly
hate.
And lactate is the most hateful product I can think of. Okay,
right? And before you like, you actually thought it was good, but now you have to hear me vent about it, and now you have an issue with something you didn't have an issue.
It is inciting a response that makes me want to cause violence. I can't.
You know what? Yeah, good luck, Evan. Sorry, I'm on this side for this one.
Well, I have to say several things to this. One, this speaks much more about your personality than the rest of the world. The fact that you are triggered so much that you wish to cause violence is more of a reflection on you than the social media site. In addition,
we're also trying, Evan. You have to admit that something that was not your cause is now your cause because a messaging board.
Well, here's the thing, though. I believe. Well, here's the other problem, though. I believe in many other causes. I believe in uplifting marginalized groups and allowing them to express their voices in the most uplifting ways possible. And sometimes we need a public forum in which they can do this. I have seen brave people come out. I have seen brave people rally behind those who have been victims of assault and marginalization. And I have seen them support those in need. And I've allowed those voices to be heard. And the existence of social media has allowed them to express their true, authentic selves in a way we've never quite seen before. The powers that be have oppressed these people for so long, and finally social media is their salvation, where they can finally be who they wish to be. And this man, this degenerate, this dictator wishes to completely abolish the only freedom that some of these people may have. And I am quite disgusted. Because it is true,
Evan, right now you're representing my entire argument right away. Because right now I really want to punch you in the face to shut you up.
But you see, this is more of a reflection on you again. Because you're the one who's angry at diversity. I'm proud of my Pride community friends.
I know, but why is it
you wish to censor them?
It's not that I wish to censor them. It is why is it me that you are targeting?
The slippery slope. It's a slippery slope, though.
Why are you targeting me with this? I never asked to be given this advertisement that you have so far. I'm having such a hard time.
I'm a big believer in uplifting marginalized groups, and I believe that their voices should be heard, and I'm sorry we see differently, Obby. In addition, I believe that while hate can breed hate, depending on where you are on these corners, I've also seen communities thrive. I've seen people meet friends on the internet. Blue herself will even admit she has met some wonderful people on these messaging boards. I, for one, would never have joined Skade had I not discovered it.
Skade as a messaging board, personally.
No, hold on. I didn't say Skade was a messaging board. I discovered Skade through Twitter, and many other people did, and Twitter is a messaging board, as he said himself. So don't interrupt me. I didn't say Skade was a messaging board. I don't see it that way either. But there are many people who have made brilliant friends through messaging boards such as Twitter. Blue herself has several Twitter friends who she had the privilege of meeting and learning to love. And the existence of a messaging board is what enabled this. Now, the problems that come with messaging boards and what taint them is understandable. And there are many things we need to do in order to fix these problems. But to abolish them is disingenuous, lazy, and is affecting those who are not misusing it in such heinous ways. And the people who are not violent should not be victims of this banning because you are a more violent person by nature. I look at you in those black robes and I see a criminal.
Are you
You
a
have work to do,
politician?
my friend.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
He
I
wishes
think
to silence me by yawning.
This is a hard one, and I do see what Evan's saying, and I do think it is a very slippery slope. But at the
All
same
right,
time, I see a
so
lot
I
of
want to tell you a
negative that's
story.
happened.
I
Okay,
want
I'm
to
ready
tell
for
a
the story.
story that I heard around in 2017.
Okay.
So there are two big groups when it comes to GPU manufacturers, NVIDIA and AMD. And a lot of people like to be fanboys on either side and like to call themselves either Team Green for NVIDIA, Team Red for AMD.
NVIDIA for life.
Now,
Yeah.
would you believe if I said in 8 years ago, I saw a debate that got heated to the point that someone from Team Red went to the person who was Team Green and actually murdered them because they posted about being Team Red on, guess what? Reddit, a public messaging board.
Mm.
So
I can believe that.
why would we allow the messaging boards in the first place when they pose such a threat to society?
Well, you're angry at the messenger, though. Sorry, you're angry at the actual thing this is taking place on, rather than the messenger or the person who's violent. Here's the thing: if I
But
went to school,
if we got rid
and
of
I had
message
an
boards
opinion,
entirely, would that not solve the
if I
problem?
well, no, it would not, and I'll explain why. If
Unless you
I'm
can't
In
at school,
15
post
seconds,
videos.
please.
if I'm at school and I have an opinion and I'm talking to my friends, nobody else, I'm just talking to my friends about my favorite flavor of Malteser, right? And or any kind of like drink or chocolate, like, oh, I love vanilla Coca-Cola, it's my favorite. And somebody in school who is not even part of the conversation overhears me because we're in a public place, because we're all there in the school, right? And then they want to kill me, and they actually do kill me over my disagreement of opinion, well then they're still in the wrong, right? Maybe I should never have spoke. Maybe the school should never have existed for the kids to attend and learn things. But in my break time, while I was talking to my friends and expressing my preference to flavor, I should not be a victim because that guy couldn't control his temper. So the messaging boards, while they can contribute,
That's time,
they
by
have
the way.
only okay. This is a hard one because there were some it is a hard one.
I'm
I
very
also
torn
have a
on
lot
that
of
one, so it
problems.
is hard.
I
It is.
will say that I put that as a joke. I don't genuinely believe that you should ban the
Should
entirety
be
of
taken down.
what
I
is
didn't
free
think you
speech
did.
technically. I mean, you've heard me chuckle
Yeah.
throughout the entire thing trying to keep it together to play the
Yeah,
act.
it's
Yeah.
hard.
But I don't genuinely believe that
But
you
it
should get
does-
rid of that stuff, but it does
It does
Yeah.
point out
incite
some issues, though.
a lot
Yeah.
of issues.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
are definitely
exactly.
issues, and I don't think banning would solve them, but I think that we need to do better at how we address them because yeah, hate does breed hate, and it can lead to some fucking serious issues, and we're seeing the effects of
Yeah.
that right now. So
All right,
I was being a little disingenuous in some ways, but I think it was all in good jest, and I think you guys saw my point that I was
Evan,
making.
it is now your
Okay,
turn.
Your
Ready to
turn. What's
go.
your
All right.
number one pet
In
peeve?
3,
I
you ready?
yeah, sorry.
In 3, 2, 1, start.
Ladies and gentlemen, guys, gals, and non binary pals, we have discussed many different pet peeves. I have made some very strong arguments today against both of my esteemed colleagues here. But I have one final pet peeve that is going to really knock all these out of the park. Okay? I've complained incessantly about people who don't pull forward at the gas station. I've complained incessantly at expecting an immediate reply and society's
Literally
attitudes
just
toward
copying and
immediate
plagiarizing me.
responses. I will copy and plagiarize whoever I like. I'm a large language model. I'm just absorbing different sources. And in addition to that,
My
I
name
think
is
there are many
AI.
other pet peeves that I could have listed
Soul
many other
AI.
pet peeves. And there are many to choose from, including people who are heckling while I'm trying to talk. But my biggest pet peeve, it's okay. My number one pet peeve though, okay, is a slow walker in my way. Now, what do I mean by this? Because you could look at this in different angles. When I'm talking about slow walkers, I am not talking about somebody who's in front of me down a public footpath or on the sidewalk or pavement, whatever you call it. I'm not bothered if that person is a slow walker, as long as I can get around them. They can walk as slow as they want. They could literally walk one step at a time at a turtle's pace. It does not bother me at all. I'm a very carefree person when it comes to that. We all walk at our own pace. I'm quite a fast walker personally, but we all walk at our own pace and it's fine. And some of us may have ailments and some of us may have things that hinder us from walking quickly. I'm not angry at the people who walk slowly per se. I'm angry at the people who get in the way and walk slowly. These are people, for example, who rather than walking on one side of the path, will walk down the middle of the path, meaning I can't go around them. That irritates me. If you're going to walk slowly, by all means, you walk as slow as you want, honey. I don't care. It's when you are literally in the way and you're getting in my way and I can't pass you. If I can pass you, I don't even look twice. I don't even care. I don't even notice you. But you walk in the middle and you literally hold me up and I can't do anything, I'm going to get restless and I'm going to get irritated. And I don't care what condition you have, what mobility problem you have. I don't care who you are. You're in my way and it's irritating, man. Number one pet
You
peeve.
yield.
I yield.
Okay, so wait, where do you live that your path is the width of one person? Because here in America, even our sidewalks are like, even if they try to walk smack in the middle, see, I'm going down the line, you still could go around them. It might mean you touch grass for a second,
Well,
or
hold
maybe
on.
you have to
Hold
go
on,
around the
just blue
street.
333.
Oh, hold on, I'm not done. Or you maybe have to go into the sand, or maybe you have to go into the street. But very rarely in, like, I'm thinking sidewalk with, like, very rarely are you actually stuck behind them. Although it might come off as a little rude to go around them, like if you have to go off of the path a little bit. But I would rather
It's
do
that.
that
So
than
that's the number
shame them
one.
for being slow
Yeah.
walkers.
So number one, there are many footpaths where this is not a problem at all. It doesn't matter how much they are walking awkwardly, you can get around them. The path is big enough, 100%. But there are those nuanced paths that can be quite skinny, and and this is more of a problem on like sidewalks here. Like particularly in my town, sidewalks are quite thin, so you
Same in
literally
my
have to walk
hometown.
onto the road to go around them.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Is it
in
like
that
one
instance,
person
it's very
wide?
It is literally one person
basically.
wide.
But if they scooch just a little to the left or the right, whichever way, then I can
Mhm.
get past no problem. And
So
so
what's wrong with saying, "Excuse me, ma'am, sir, our binary pals, would you mind scooching just a bit? I'm
I
just
don't.
need
This
to get
coming from the
past
one
you."
who doesn't
I don't
even
wish
want to
to.
be
You
Well,
talked
don't
I
to
like
would
by
go
another
to.
around.
You
person.
don't like.
I would
You.
literally walk in the middle of a street with oncoming traffic if I
You.
had to get around someone
You do not like.
walking, because I also don't
You.
like slow walkers, but I find
You
my
do
own
not
way
like.
around them because it's
You
my
do not
problem,
like.
not theirs. I know that.
I believe that it's one of those instances where I believe it can be quite difficult to draw attention, and I have done this before, and they don't hear. Some people are literally so in their own world for whatever reason that may be. I'm not judging, but some people just will not hear you or will not notice you, and even people who aren't wearing headphones. So eventually, you're kind of forced to go around them, and I don't
Mhm.
like being dramatic at all. I don't want to look like this is where it gets really uncomfortable for me. I don't want to have to like power walk around them by walking onto the road because that might make them feel bad and make them go, "Oh wow,
Well,
I
that
was
would be
holding
a
that
last
person up."
case resort,
But
but
I,
wouldn't you
uh,
rather them get around you than know you're holding somebody up? You know,
I'm well,
because if I was
I'm one of
walking
those
slow, like when I was injured, and I walked slow, I would, if someone went around me and I noticed, I would
when
actually be
I'm
like, "Oh, mate, sorry," or sorry,
when
and
I'm
they'd be like, "Oh, it's no problem," like.
when I'm walking like when I'm walking like down like a path in general, I'm always like closer to one side of it. I'm usually either on the left side or the right side. So that means that like whether I notice a person behind me or not, they're always able to pass me if I'm going too slow for them. It doesn't matter what the reason is. So what I'm more annoyed at is that they don't do that anyway. I understand people may not notice, or they may have their own reasons. It's more that they don't think to just be on the left or right side anyway to get around. I kind of wish they would just lean and stick to a side so I can get around, regardless of what's going on. That's what bothers me.
All right.
It's not so much the ease of it is not a problem.
So
Go ahead,
I
Abby.
have two things. First off, Evan, do you hate the obese?
Yes,
And the elderly,
I
And
do.
the
do you
ones
have
with
the
and the
do you hate the
amputee.
elderly obese?
Do you hate the elderly
Yes,
abuse
Because
amputees?
so here's the thing. Some people literally do take up just the entire width of a sidewalk. And
Mhm.
they do walk slow because they're carrying more weight and stuff like that. And it is harder for them to walk in general. Maybe they had to walk today just because of the fact that, hey, my DoorDasher or DoorDash is down because of like they're in a small town or something. They don't get a DoorDasher or something. I don't know. And they have to go to the grocery store themselves to get some food or something. Who knows? Maybe they need to go
Sure.
grab toilet paper. They have
Those are
There's
points.
only narrow sidewalks the entire way through though. And unfortunately they take up the entire sidewalk. What do you do in that scenario?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Marjorie. Okay, it's not my fault that your mobility scooter
Wow.
wasn't charged. You get out of my way.
Wow. Okay.
If we're American and can't
hold up.
afford it. Excuse me.
Next thing then. Next thing. Sometimes a
This is
mobility
fun.
scooter goes slower than the actual walker.
Literally, if you've never
What
been
are you gonna
around
do
them.
then? And the mobility
ones at the
scooter is
grocery
usually even
store.
bigger.
I live in a town where you can count
what if
on
you're
one hand
poor?
how many people would need a mobility scooter due to being obese. Like this is not a problem where I live. So mobility scooters are never really on the table.
Okay, well,
but
I have
The
another
elderly
argument
people,
here.
they're not just
Yeah,
the
they'll-
obese.
I
They're
do-
also
yeah, the elderly people
elderly.
on
Now, I do have
they-
an argument that
speed
is
fast.
actually more appealing and probably is more something that you would have deal with on occasion. So, Evan,
Yeah.
do you hate small dogs who can't walk that fast compared to bigger dogs?
Yeah.
You know,
No, I actually yield that. No, I yield that. I don't hate them at all. I would very happily like wait as long as it takes them. I can't even come up with like a bullshit argument for that one. I would never get angry at a small cute dog. You don't even
yet
need to
you would
elaborate,
get
Obby.
mad
I give
at the
up on that one.
person who is walking the dog, wouldn't you? Because they're physically able and
because the
stuff.
dog.
Why not?
No,
Why
'cause the
shouldn't they
dog-
just go ahead and pick up the dog and let you pass?
No, because the dog is cute. I don't mind walking behind a dog. God, no. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the person's with them. I don't.
So you
care.
want to
So
keep
you
looking
are-
at the dog's butt,
So
is what you're
you're-
saying.
Are you humophobic? Is that what you are? Is it humans?
I believe the word is actually.
What if it was a
misanthropic,
hot
and
girl
yes, I am.
going really slow?
Then I, you know what I would do? I would walk even slower so I could match that pace.
Oh my god.
You're like, look at us. We have so much in common. We both walk really fucking slow.
I would start talking her ear off, and I would like ask if I could pet the
She would
dog,
then all
and
of a
then
sudden run away.
and then I would get
All
my
of a sudden,
dog,
she
and
can walk fast.
I love
yeah,
how serious we took the last one, and this one we're just making jokes.
I'm gonna be honest. Can I actually say this? I kind of regret picking this one because in real life, this actually very rarely comes up, and even when it does, it really rarely irritates me. I actually like this was one that I really had to reach for a pet peeve, and for some reason I chose it as my last one. I think I considered it my most controversial because I knew it would be the one that was like the easiest to argue with. But honestly, like it's very hard for me to even argue this because, like, honestly, like
It's hard
number
to
one,
argue slow walkers.
this very rarely
Slow
comes up in
talkers. That would have been a good one. God damn, we all hate that.
no, I should have done that one. No, yeah, you're right. That's a way better one. Yeah,
No, because I
slow-
couldn't argue it. I would just be like, "You
On the-
right." That's it. I can't
on
argue slow
the-
talkers.
On the point of slow walkers, I'm a very difficult person to irritate. Like in a situation like that, like it very rarely comes up, and if it does, it's probably just I'm having a bad day. I'm in a really deep rush, and I've hit an unlucky bit of pathway that's really thin, and there's a lot of traffic, so I can't walk around you. I always walk around, and I don't make a big point of it. Like I'm never that.
I'll make it seem like I want to walk on the street.
Yeah, and 100%. Like I don't even care. Like I just power walk past. I'm a very resourceful and person who can just go right. I'll go around. So
I'm a
honestly,
fast walker
that
too,
was
by the way. Like I
And
walk
that
really
is
fast.
time, by the way.
yeah, that was fun.
Very good one.
I'm sorry I
Yay.
didn't have like a more controversial one, but nice arguments, guys. Really nice.
Yeah, very
All
fun.
right,
Okay,
it's time for the last one.
ready? Let's do it.
In 3,
All right,
2, 1, go.
go. So my final pet peeve that I would like to abolish and make law globally, I think, although I don't know that other countries have this issue, is when this really is like my biggest pet peeve of like all time. And that is when I see people throw trash out of their car windows. And oftentimes it's cigarettes, like a cigarette butt, like they'll flick it out their window. And I remember being a very little kid, like maybe 6 or 7, seeing that and getting so upset. Like, why are they throwing it on the ground? Like, because, like back then cars had ashtrays. This is before y'all's time. Cars used to like literally have ashtrays. And I never understood why people would throw it out the window instead of putting it in their ashtray. And then as I got older, it just became just the one thing that just triggers me more than anything is watching someone throw a cigarette butt out a window. Now, we don't see cigarettes as much anymore. At least in my kind of area, it's, people that do smoke or typically vape or whatever. So seeing actual people throw out cigarettes is not something I run into very often at all anymore. But we replaced that now with trash. And so that's the other part of it. So basically throwing any form of trash, whether it be a cigarette butt, a can, a wrapper out, it just drives me nuts. And I see this all the time at like drive-throughs. So like I'll be, pulled into whatever a place to eat, and then I'll see someone come around like at McDonald's or something, and they will literally get the receipt from the person. They'll grab their food, get the receipt, they will crumble it and drop it right there. like right there, like under the window. And I just look and I'm like, I will, like, you guys know I do not make eye contact, and I will fucking dead eye them like, did you just really throw trash? And it's like nothing to them. Like, I don't even know that people realize the amount of stuff that they throw on the ground. And it's always this is my earth too, this is my world too, this is my street too, not just yours. You don't get to just litter on my street, and I'm not littering on yours. I don't go into your house and just like, throw my trash on your ground. But I tell you, one time I did get really brave, and I did actually pick up a cigarette butt and I threw it into the back of their truck because I was so mad. Like, they had thrown it out and walked into a store, and I went and picked it up and put it in their bed of their truck. That way it wasn't going to burn any like fabric or anything, but I felt really proud of myself though. Like, it's imagine that. Imagine if someone just picked up every cigarette butt that you ever threw out a window and threw it into the cab of your vehicle. How would that feel? If I came into your house and just threw my trash on your floor and walked out, how would you feel? And I'm sorry, it's probably very much a me thing, but that is my number one biggest pet peeve of life, and I would really love to see people not be assholes. Okay, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Blue,
I
for
yield.
sharing that. I think it's very brave of you to share that argument, and honestly, really appreciate you taking the time to do this. The first thing I'd like to say though is that you're
Play the game.
unfortunately you're making a terrible mistake of trying to equate society at large for your home. It is not your home. Okay?
Mhm.
So it is not the same. Me throwing my trash on the floor, and I have plenty of good reasons, let me tell you. But me throwing my trash on the ground out there in the public is not even remotely the same as me throwing it in your home. You don't own that car park that you parked your vehicle in. You have the privilege of parking your car in that car park, which you do not own. Same with any area of society. So for you to selfishly, and everybody right here, right? Blue is usually not this selfish. For this vagrant to even dare imply or make the suggestion that their home is also the same as society at large is absolutely disgraceful. And I'm quite disappointed in my opponent's show of ingratitude and disrespect.
So,
What's she writing now? Graffiti, probably.
yeah, littering on our thing right now. When she's making an argument that we should stop littering in general. And here she is placing the sign.
I clean up my mess. Yeah, I put selfish because I'm being selfish about this, and I am.
You know how
be selfish with me.
Actually,
clean up the earth.
Okay.
I will clean up my sign when I'm done. Thank you.
Miss Blue.
Yeah, hi.
I got a question to ask you. Now, unlike my contemporary here next to me, I don't think you're selfish. In fact, I think you are very selfless. But I must ask, why are you being so selfless for a big bowl of shit like the planet Earth? That is full of the human species that does the most vile shit imaginable, when we could be using this trash to make the Earth go extinct faster. See, maybe this is why I believe that we should... This is why I believe that we should be littering. We should be making sure that we get our cigarette butts in the most flammable places possible, because we need to burn this place. This place has become tainted, corrupted with the vile scum of humanity. And this is why every chance I get, I make sure that I go and buy a pack of cigarettes, don't use any of them, light them all, and just throw them out onto the field next to the gas station. Okay? I do that every single day. It is my tradition. Okay? I do this to make sure that the earth knows I disrespect it. I want them to know I
I
do not
agree.
respect this place.
I also believe that it is a net gain to throw your trash out on the ground for several reasons. Number one, if I throw a cigarette butt on the ground, can you imagine how many ants are going to be so excited they get another fix of nicotine? You know how long they've probably been waiting? They've probably
You
been
know what?
waiting
Do you
like
know the
5
problem
years
with ant
to smoke
nicotine
the
addiction?
remaining
We don't
bits of
have
that.
enough anonymous groups to make for them. There's so many.
Now, the additional
AA.
You're
thing too is
contributing. You're contributing to the
now
nicotine addiction of ants,
if I
and you
throw
should be
if I
ashamed of
throw my
yourself.
trash
Ants
if I throw my
Anonymous.
trash on the ground,
It's
right?
anonymous.
If I throw my trash on the ground, think about how many homeless people are going to accumulate that trash and forge a new home out of it, or some kind of shelter, or maybe even eat the trash. Okay,
You know, if you
like
throw it away and
actually,
recycle it, they actually can really actually make it into building materials and actually make homes for them.
yeah, but that sounds like the government doing that, and I don't want the government doing that.
Our
Okay, I
government
want them
The
to do
doesn't
it
government
with
listen to
can't
that.
my.
tell me
I
Fine.
want
where
them
I
to do
can
it with
put my
my
trash.
They don't.
Yeah, I want.
It's more
the government
local
doesn't
that
get
does that, not government.
Yeah. So you
You
agree that the
silly,
government
silly
shouldn't do that?
non-American.
So you agree the government shouldn't do that then? You agree that this is actually a good thing, that we should throw trash on the ground because the government has no say
No,
in what we do
it's
with our
called "Don't
trash.
be an asshole," and you shouldn't throw your trash on the ground because your
So
mother's taught you better
well,
than that.
this is actually a really funny story.
What
So the
about
other
all the
day,
people
right,
who
I
don't
was
have
actually
mothers, huh?
And your fathers
yeah.
and your
And what
So
about people who don't
non-binary
have
parents,
mothers? What about
and
people
well,
who
the
don't
one
Miss.
have
the
We
one
all
parents?
had
What
Mr.
about the
Rogers on
people
the
who were born
TV.
out of eggs?
I also
You
would like to
have
point out
me, and I'm telling you, just don't do it,
I have a
please.
I have a story actually of a person who I actually saw at the supermarket who had like a lot of shopping with him.
'Kay.
And he also got some fast food afterwards, which I thought was fair enough. And I was
Did
parked
you
in my car, I was
upsell
on the
them?
phone.
Okay.
No, I was on the phone in my car and in the car park, and this
Why are you
guy
driving
had
with
bought a
talking?
McDonald's.
Mhm.
I'm parked, Blue,
'Kay.
and I'm watching this guy like finish his McDonald's meal in the car, and then he throws it out of the parked car window because he's eating it
Mhm.
like in the car park, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is that when I actually looked
Parking lot.
closer,
Mhm.
he actually didn't throw it at all. His hands were shaking. He was jittery. He had nerve problems in his hands. He
Uh-huh.
couldn't hold that trash, and he
Uh-huh.
also had a cane with him, and he
Did he
couldn't
pick it
walk
up when he
to the
was
bin.
done? Like
No,
accidentally
he
dropped
didn't.
it. I don't say
No,
it's not wrong that he accidentally dropped it, but if it was me and I dropped it and I spilt something and it might take me a
Blue,
bit, but I would pick it up because it's not someone else's problem
Blue.
that I have nerve
Wait,
damage.
But
It's
he had
taking
a terrible
accountability for
accident.
yourself.
But
okay.
he had a worse accident than throwing trash on the ground. His biggest accident was becoming nerve
Evan, can
damaged
I say a
from
better
Did he
falling into a
story?
shit
vacuum
himself?
cleaner.
Because that's a better
Evan,
story.
can
Okay.
I give a better story?
Yes,
I
please
want
do.
to tell you the story of a small business startup. Now, this small business startup had a product that they believe would be very good and very popular, but they just weren't seeing sales through normal methods of advertising. So, do you know what they did? They went and put their product as fake litter outside of clubs and stuff to get people to see that and be like, wow, that can is finished. And someone must have really liked it if they finished the entire can. You know
Oh,
what
that's actually very smart.
you know what that small business is now? That's Red
What?
Bull.
Oh,
Red Bull
really?
started
That's
up
awesome.
with that kind of business model, and now they are a multi-billion-dollar company. So, I ask you, people who support capitalism, we should keep we should keep litter for the sole sake of advertising. Now you have 10 seconds. What's your final argument?
Hold
You're
on,
very welcome.
scrolling, looking for the wings. Where's the wings? Because Red Bull has wings. I can't
And
find the
that
wings that
is
fast.
time.
So yeah, no, very good arguments. But yeah, that
They,
is my biggest
yeah,
pet peeve.
I think
Yeah.
I honestly think like with mine, I think it was one of those where it was very, very hard to argue. I don't think most people would disagree with you on that. I think like throw your trash when you can very
Yeah.
easily pick
Well,
it
in
up.
all seriousness,
Like,
I have accidentally dropped stuff before. And I
yeah,
have,
yeah.
And then you
but I
just like,
do.
I don't feel like
I go
picking it
pick it.
up.
No, I do. I
Yeah.
always pick it up
See,
because
I
if
am the
anything, I'm
opposite.
worried people will be watching me, going like, "Wow, are they gonna pick it up?"
I'm
Like,
that guy. When I'm at McDonald's, right? Like I always take my trash like to the bin. Like I see a lot of people who like leave their trays with like their finished food. I'm that
what you
guy
mean in
who
the
like literally
restaurant? You don't eat in
Yeah.
your car like a
Um,
normal person?
but I always like make a point of doing that. Like sometimes like the cleaning stuff, like, oh thank you, like I'll take it from here. I'm like, oh no, that's okay. Like I'm that big. I'm the very big person who's like really like believes in cleaning up after yourself, like as much as
I
possible. So
also
you know,
I also only
yeah.
remembered the Red Bull story like 3 minutes before the end, and I was like, "Oh wait,
That's
that would
so
have been
funny.
that would have been such a better argument to
Yep.
use rather than being all like cynical and say the world is fucked up. We should just end it all with the
Yeah.
trash." That would have been a way
Well,
better
that
argument.
wasn't wrong either. So I mean,
Well, true.
They were good
Anyways,
arguments.
can you pick up your
This was a
trash,
lot of
madam?
fun, I gotta say.
oh yes, thank you. All done.
All right, time to go back to our normal seats for the outro.
Yeah.
There you go.
Out.
Hi.
Nope, that's a trapdoor. Thank you. Well, I think we all did a lot of arguments. I was smiling throughout this entire thing.
Yeah, they were hard to argue.
This
All
was
of
Some of
them.
them were very hard to argue, and a lot of them were very fun to argue. Even if you had to come up with the most
water bottle.
even if you had to come up with the
funny.
most batshit crazy responses in order to argue it, it was
mine
fun.
were all insane.
Oh
Yeah.
man, shit on himself. Something
Now-
like that. Yeah.
To be fair, I still believe the 64-ounce water bottles are unnecessary, especially having a 40-ounce water bottle. But that's besides the
you know
point.
what's
We have the
funny?
outro.
I've gone all the way down to a 28 because I cannot agree with you more, and then I just fill it up more each day. I know.
Yeah. Like, if
Crazy.
you're already getting a refillable water bottle, just refill the water bottle. Like,
I also think I think doing like smaller bottle also encourages you to like be more conscious of like when you drink it. Like I think if you have a 2 liter, you're more likely to like chug it and like end up needing to like go to the toilet constantly. I think like having
No, I
like
actually
less,
drink
you
it
can
less.
spread it out.
Because
That's
I
what I
can't
mean.
see it go down
That's
fast
what I
that's
said.
what he
enough.
means.
I actually drink the littler one faster than I do the big one. So.
Oh, okay,
well,
fair enough.
either way,
Yeah, so it is backwards. Yeah.
I want to thank
Yeah.
Abolish Everything for the idea and the Jet Lag Layover podcast.
We
for
love
also
jet lag.
The idea.
Skade watches it together.
Yes.
It's fun. We love you
Jet
guys.
lag is very
Go
fun.
Team Sam.
And
Let's
I
go,
hope
Sam.
that
I love you, Wendover.
I love you, Ben. Please win whatever season you're doing. But
Sam,
also thank you for Abolish. Thank you for Abolish Everything for thank you Abolish Everything for the idea. And I really hope that they have more success in the future. Their series has been great so far. Please go check it out on Nebula if you have the free money to do so. It is a very fun series to watch. With that though,
sorry.
we don't have to have anyone add anything to the wall today, so I think we just are gonna say bye.
Yeah, perfect.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah,
okay.
it is feels weird. All right. Yeah.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.